everyone, Crazy Dog 500 back here once again with another video for you all. And today's video is something special because I have a special guest coming today. And that special guest is Dave Sheridan, who plays Officer Doofy from the Scary Movie franchise.
Hey, no running. Slow down.
One of the reasons why he's coming over today is because I wanted to show you all what the screen use props look like up close, just because I know a lot of you haven't seen these props before, just only images, and now you have a video where you're gonna see a lot of the details up close and how these masks were made and the robe itself. But I believe he's bringing down the robe, the two masks, which is the main killer, the Wassup mask, and the knife. But enough me talking, I'm gonna jump right into the video, and maybe there might be some little surprises at the end about Scary Movie 6, hopefully. All right, so Dave Sheridan came down and he's nice enough to bring down some of his screen use props for you all to see today. And he's just gonna go one by one, just showing off everything that he brought today.
What's up? What is up, America? So I got everything I had in the film. I've got this is the actual Ghostface robe that I wore. It's way different than what people might think because it's very heavy. It's a heavy fabric, and it zippers in the back, and this rim is padded. You really can't feel it, or you can't see it, but if you could feel it, this is a whole padded rim so it holds its shape. And it's cotton, black fabric. Oh wait, let me show you the arms. There's what the arms actually look like.
And it's almost like a tablecloth type of heavy material, not something lightweight.
It's way heavier than what they sell in any of the costumes, you know, and it's still blew in the wind and stuff like that, you know. It still had a lot of flow to it, even though it was a heavy cotton. This is not the one that opens up. I didn't keep that one. I should have. I wasn't thinking. So I do wish I had the opening up one. Of course, you got the Killer Genuine Draft. I think that's a St. Ides bottle. If you're ever looking to make it, it was a St. Ides bottle. It was not a Miller Genuine Draft bottle.
I noticed those bottles are kind of hard to come by. Like, I check every liquor store out here, and only, like, I gotta say, run down ghetto liquor store usually have them. Yeah,
because they don't really sell 40s. They sell like the 22 ounces, which have like the more like pinched up bottle.
And some of them are just now plastic instead of glass.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I wouldn't want to break it, that's for sure. So then this is the Wassup one. Wassup, chillin', killin'. And just to let you know, like when they made these masks, they basically, we already had Scream 1, Scream 2, and Scream 3 were out, or Scream 1 and 2 were out. Scream 3 was about to come out. And so they simply just went to the store and bought regular Scream masks. And I believe they were Scream 2 masks. And they just poured their own latex, painted it, and then literally glued and stapled them around the shroud. So this is a Fun World. You can even see on the back how it's got like Fun World and stuff like that. You know, and that's how they made them.
What's funny is a lot of people think these masks were like perfectly done, flawless, all hand sewn, and when in reality it's just thrown together technically.
Yeah, and I only wore that for like 3 seconds in one scene. And they actually, the funny thing is, and I actually cut those eyes out so I could wear it now. But when we shot, it had no eyes because I was only sitting. So the whole point, like, that's how, what they were like, yep, here, put this on.
Yeah, you're not moving around or anything.
That scene was a reshoot that we came back about 6 months later. So if we shot in August of 1999, I went back at the like mid-February of 2000, and the movie came out July 7th in 2000. After the Super Bowl, and that Budweiser commercial became a hit, they wrote that joke.
Yo, Duque, pick up the file. Yo.
What's up? They wanted to add new jokes into a movie that was shot a year before. They wanted to, like, if anything pop culture came up, they were like, we want this to be more timely right now to just so that the comedy
At
was
the
like,
right
oh my
time.
gosh, yeah, exactly. It wasn't a joke that was 5 years old at that point. So you've got your Bell South. You know, and I had a flip phone. It was Motorola. I guess it was called a Razor back then. I don't know what it was, but it was that was the best thing that came out of the film. Was I got a sponsorship with Motorola just when people were starting to get cell phones. So I didn't have to get a cell service or cell phones. I just, in Hollywood there, when a new model came out, they would I'd go to the actual showroom, or they would just send it to me, and I was just constantly getting Motorola products.
That's really nice.
I didn't have to pay for cell service. So that was kind of like a cool thing.
Isn't it crazy how the times are technology-wise from then and just now?
And I only got out of it, I stopped it when the iPhones came out. I was Motorola Razors until like 2006. Once those iPhones came out, or texting and stuff, because I was like, I don't like texting. You used to have to text where it was like, you know what I'm saying? You'd have to spell the word
number
out
3 times to get one letter.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Here's the real hero mask. And I don't know how many of these they made. They only made one of these. It's in one shot. This was made by a different artist. Because we did this in LA. This in the art department was up in Vancouver. So I don't know the artist that made these and poured these, but these were poured in Vancouver. There were more than one because I did have a stunt double. And so I'm assuming they made 3, like to have a backup and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't know that my mouth is fabric, and it didn't really look like this. The original, when we started shooting, if you bend this, if you kind of push this down like that, that's kind of more what it looked like.
You got a lot of nerve coming here. I'm just trying to do my job. Get the camera off me.
No, Kenny, keep rolling. Keep rolling, Kenny.
I'm gonna slice your head off.
Sweet Jesus.
It was a solid mouth that was much longer, and when they cut that out, imagine they cut it out, then it loses its sort of thing, and then I would put it on and really tie it tight, and that's
I think there's one scene in the film where you're pulling the girl out of the car.
Yeah.
That's where it had the solid mouth.
the Blair Witch thing.
That part, yeah.
Yeah, and you could see like the glue here, just from the stretching. So this was actually glued a little tighter, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was more pinched in, but then this widens out from just me stretching. And again, in this one, since I had to breathe and talk through it, they cut that mask. It's still the Fun World mask. And you could see that right here. You could see the Fun World right there, and then you could see the rim of the mask. But they They cut it out wider. That one, they just literally they just put it right on the mask on the inside. Here they made it, and then they wrote my name in there, Dave, so that they knew it was my mask, you know, so I didn't end up wearing someone else's. But there was a stunt guy, and he did a few things. The big 2 that they didn't let me do were getting kicked through the window at the end, and then running down the staircase
with the piano.
Because at the time they did say, hey, you might get injured. Your robe could get caught. It was a real piano going down, even though it was on a cable.
Really?
It was hollowed out, but it was it wasn't CG'd or anything. And if I tripped, for them to stop it on the cable would probably be, I still might hurt my leg or be mangled up. But the reality is, then I learned afterwards, anytime because I love to do stunts, but there's been a couple other movies where it's like, no, we're gonna use a stunt double. And it's always when another stunt actor is involved. And they're like, we don't want you to hurt the other stunt actor, because then you might be liable. You know what I mean? The production's liable if 2 stunt guys, something happens. But if I cause someone else to be injured in the stunt, then that might leave me like open to lawsuits and stuff. So a lot of times they let me do hey, if I'm falling down the staircase by myself. But for that work, there was an old lady at the bottom, and I know they were also concerned with like, if something goes wrong, you know, we don't want you to be the one that hurts them. Yeah. And the window would have been fine if it was, you know, real easy to do, but it wasn't an easy stunt because that's what they call a one and done, because it was a real pane of glass. And it was that kind of glass that breaks apart. I forget what, tempered?
Sugar?
No, it was glass. It was real glass, but tempered glass.
Oh, tempered glass, yeah.
And they have a popper. They have a hydraulic popper.
To make it shatter?
As and it's timed out with the guy going through it. So it's supposed to shatter they want to get it as close as possible before the guy goes through. And so, but that was like a $2,000 putting the glass in and rigging it up. It was like, and the time consumed, if we blew it, it was
There's more money wasted.
Yeah, they just call that a one and done.
Yeah.
And you shoot with more than one camera. That's like that might have been a 5-camera shoot just to make sure, versus a 3-camera shoot. They were like extra cameras, one rolling high speed, because that was film back then. So one would be rolling slow, would create slow speed, but the film is really rolling high speed, So, and here's the knife. That is the Hero knife, the Buck 120. It's chromed out. On the film, it looks pretty good though, even though it's like a kind of chrome dip. It's cracked right there. I don't even want to touch it because that thing is about to come out, but because I did stab a lot with it, and it's rubber. So I could bend this part a little bit so you can see that it's rubber, not like a resin or anything like that.
Yeah, not like a plastic or some type of harder material.
When I enter Drew's house. And it's cool stuff. The dip is so tough, where's my glasses? I don't know if I could read the writing on here. Buck 120U, I think. I don't know, so the bottom line is, on the buck knife, something on there denotes it to be a 1995, not a 1996, because they changed the buck.
Oh yeah, it looks like the chrome filled it in a little bit.
Yeah.
It says Buck 120U.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my one friend's been asking me to send him this so he could see, did they take it from 96 or a 95? Because the original Scream was a 95 because they shot it. It came out in 96.
Yeah.
After 96, Buck changed the Buck 120. And so I think
There's so many different versions of it now.
Yeah, this one, well, one thing here is it doesn't have the pinstriping, the laid-in pinstriping. They didn't bother doing that. But that's just an artistic thing. But the sheath, on the real buck, the sheath is different. The 95 sheath is different than the 96 Han. And that, whatever you call that little notch, it's different, So anyway, there you go. And then, so we were able to make scans, right, Josh?
Yeah.
We did like scans of these, which I think you've posted before. And then we did a reverse.
So we did 2 scans of the main mask and the Wassup mask.
Right.
And then we had that printed. And then here is the first blank latex copy out of it.
Of the real mask. So there you go, folks. Wait, I'll hold it up. So soon people will be able to get a latex version of the screen-worn mask on both the Hero mask as well, but this will be the first one we get out. What's up?
And they're the same size and everything too.
Chilling. Yeah, let me line up. Beautiful. Yeah, you put them next to each other here. They're exact replicas. You can't get more exact. This was done with laser scans. So literally it's 100% to the T. And same thing with this one, which has a lot of, when people finally get this one, all the little things like the sort of irregularity in the eye there, the crease. The mouth is so hard to get. I see a lot of people trying to hand make these, doing their own hand molds. And I love them, by the way, talking to all the mask makers out there. I really get a kick out of, and there's some ones that are really close, and there's some ones that are like creatively
really
not as
close for something they don't see in person. It's just off a reference.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing you guys can see is these have aged over time with the color, but they were never a stark white. So when you go and get the Fun World masks, and that's that really, really stark white, they were never stark white for lighting purposes, because with a black robe and something so stark and white, you wouldn't see any detail on the black robe. So to kick that down, they already had these sort of kicked down to an off-white.
Just like looking at the robe over there, that's not even a pure black. It's almost like a whitish tone to it over the black.
Although I might say that just might have faded over time. It's 25 years old. There may be a fade or two. I don't know, but it probably wasn't all certain. It definitely wasn't as dark black as that. You could see. So, but yeah, you got this little nick here in the mouth, and so it's pretty cool. I can't believe they're still holding up. That is one of the reasons, by the way, that I reached out to Josh, was I was looking to preserve the masks just for myself, to have the resin molds and to have like the digital copies in sort of the digital world for eternity.
That's the new thing now.
Yeah, I just feel like they're going to, because what we made, now we can shrink those and make little like exact
Figures
mold for the
or-
NECA dolls.
Yeah.
We can like make
Switch
little,
out the heads.
yeah, because they do have those, but these would be like, oh, you want the exact mask now, small, which would be kind of cool. So, coming soon. Here's our little workup that we're gonna have.
That's just a quick test we did.
Yeah.
Of the header.
It might change a little bit, and then it'll be available there. I love your logo. So keep an eye on the site and hopefully reach out, hit them up if you're interested in already putting your name in for an order and stuff like that. Because he's going to hand make these, hand paint them, do the shroud and everything like that. So it's not like they're going to be in high production.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you have any conventions coming up?
when are you going to post this?
Oh, probably sometime this month, so maybe in a week.
In a week, come see me at Chicago Days of the Dead. It's in Chicago, obviously. I'm in Memphis Monster Con, but that's this weekend. And then Tulsa Horror Con. It's the first year show. Check that one out. It's a great lineup. It's almost like a Devil's Rejects reunion. I mean, I got so many friends are going to be at that one. So
Will Felissa be joining you at all these shows or just some of them?
Of course. She's I just carry the purse. I just carry. Yes. Felissa is the one that books all these shows. So,
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm so thankful. We love her. And we're going to talk to Josh about getting a little Angela mask made soon. Because
Yeah,
we got to
hopefully.
get that one done. Yeah.
Now, there's going to be people asking you about Scary Movie 6. Is there anything you can talk about it?
The only thing I can 100% tell you is the ghost face will return for Scary Movie 6. 100%. I mean, Marlon already confirmed that by taking a photo with a ghost face, and that is not me in that photo. So I know that the script was around for a while, and there was one by Mike Binder. That was the original auspice. That was announced about 6 months ago. And as they were putting the cast together, it maneuvered in a way that Marlon Wayans was like, oh, I'll do it, but I want to own the rights. I want to get those rights back. And then once he got that, then it's sort of like, I want to make the script funnier. Because the Wayans will never do just someone else's script.
Yeah.
They're too funny and they're going to bring too much funny to it. So right now it's going through a quick reimagining and rewrite, but from what I know of the original script, it did fall in line with what Scary Movie did with really following the story of the Screams. So this would be like the Scream 4, 5, and 6. Or was it just Scream 5 and 6?
Yeah, 5 and 6.
5 and 6. Well, there's 7 coming out, right? So
And I
5
think that
6.
takes place not with the last 2 that just came out.
Got it, because they fired a bunch of them. But yeah, so the Scream 5 and 6. So and that's where you come in. We'll probably be using like the original mask here, done up as like just how they did in Scream 6. Like how it's the aged mask. So we could take this mold we now have, and so it'll be exact, but also have you artistically age it up to be a spoof of the Scary Movie or Scream 6. Don't forget, there's also I Know What You Did Last Summer in the original Scary Movie, and now they have a new I Know What You Did Last Summer coming out.
Yeah.
So
I think another year or two that's going to be coming out.
Right, but what we will do is get the script. I'm going to go in and pretend to be Jennifer Love Hewitt. I'm just going to shave really tightly. I'm just kidding. But we'll get a hold of that script if the movie's not out, we're going to get a hold of the script and then make sure that there's jokes that are, matching in that. And I also think that it'll cover stuff like the Terrifier films, Saw, whatever is sort of new right now. That's like what are some of the new hot ones that are out? Obviously Terrifier, and then the Halloween, the last 3 Halloween trilogies, because that also took place years later too. Mm-hmm. So if you have this Scream thing taking place generationally years later, and now you have Halloween taking place generationally years later.
It seems like that's the thing now with all these new horror movies
And
coming
if we
out.
bring back Anna Faris, it'll be her like years later, like what has she done? Has she created a house to sort of like catch
Protect
Ghostface
herself.
in, but it's all backfiring or something like that, you know what I mean? So it could be a lot of fun.
So far from what I've seen online, there's a lot of people who are really excited for this movie. The one thing they're really curious about is, do you think they'd be holding back on the jokes just because the world we live in now?
Well, first of all, that is a great question. And the fact that we're even asking that or worrying about that tells me that we need to not hold back.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I totally agree.
And I'm not, you know, look, I don't want to have to offend anybody, but I think everybody should be lighter and be able to laugh at themselves and be able to joke in the world.
Like
but
the way to separate themselves from a movie to like real life.
Sure, but at the same time, it's also you sort of like censoring artists and not even really like a straight up censor, but bottlenecking creativity. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking, that has a way of dripping into the entire world. Okay, so if you're saying, oh, you can't do those jokes, and then, well, you can't make those paintings, you can't write that book.
And that's what made this
so
whole
it all pushes like this, and it affects, it's a sort of trickle down thing that it affects everything in the world. You know what I mean? It makes everything where, well, we're all wearing Dockers and we all look like we work at Blockbuster Video all of a sudden. Everyone has their hair parted the same way. So you got to be able to express yourself just the same way that people want to be their authentic self, which is the way to be happy in life. Be your authentic self. And if you can't be your authentic self where you're at, go where you can. Go where you can, because you're always stuck with you. So go be you where you can be allowed. That's what I say. And then on top of that, that's why this comedy needs to be no holds barred, take no prisoner, and funny as fuck.
If anything happened to you, Dave, I think we should put that on your tombstone.
I got a lot. Too much tombstone. I just want to be, I don't want a tombstone. I have my death all picked out, or my burial. I don't want them to embalm me. I have to pay my son some money, because I assume my son can pull this off, because I'm hoping that I die at an older age. Mm-hmm. But I just want to be taken out to sea, and I want them to chum the waters, and I want them to like just dip my body, off a little crane thing, and just have sharks eat me, and people videotape it.
That's a good way to go.
Yeah, I'm dead. What do I care? Yeah. You know what I mean? But I think it'd be fun to watch. So, and Jaws is like my favorite movie of all time. So
there you go.
There you go.
Just have the theme playing too while that's happening.
Yeah, they had to dress my body up as Quint. You know what I mean? They, Hoopa drives the boat. So.
But I think that's it. Where people can find you. I know you had an Instagram at one point.
I'm really nowhere. I'm like the wind, baby. You can find me on LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn page. But otherwise, I can't. Social media sometimes is the anti-social media, and I don't want to be a part of that. I love talking to people in person.
Oh,
so.
You don't want to be on social media today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Spread the love. Spread joy. Here we go. Scary Movie. I think it should be called Scary Movie 25, by the way, because next year is the 25th anniversary. We're coming up on it. And it would just be funny because we're ironic and we're comedic, so it should be Scary Movie 25. And that's this many. Yeah. Okay, now don't disturb me while I'm making my masks.
Thank you all for watching this video. I hope it was worth the watch. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, check it out. I'll have more videos to come like this in the future, and I'll have Dave Sheridan's info down below on where you can find him on IMDB. But thank you all. Hope you have a good one. Take care.